Howdy folks, it's Mr. E from Sayulita, Mexico. It is the Daily BS Report. It could be number 154 if I'm not mistaken, but we'll have that corrected if I am. I have three card decks today. I've got the Zen Tyro, I've got the 514 Tyro of the Black Sheep, and I've got the Wisdom Oracle of the Black Sheep. And today is the Equinox, the spring equinox. And in this week, there's more astrological changes going on than we can possibly imagine and account for. There's more astrology happening this week than there is in any other week of 2023. And I'm just going to do a little rundown as I put some cards out on the table. I've already shuffled them. I'm looking at them. It is, gosh, what is today? The 20th of March, 2023, the Daily BS Report. I'm so glad you're with me. So, today, Venus is making a conjunction to the North Node. We'll amp up our desire for pleasure and connection. Thank you for Chani for this. I'm reading right off the Chani app. Then the Sun will enter Pisces. We get the equinox at 2:24 Pacific time on today, the 20th. Then on the 21st, tomorrow, the new moon in Aries occurs at 10:23. So what an incredible thing that the equinox and the new moon in Aries, which is the very beginning of the astrological calendar for this year, happens within 24 hours. And on Thursday, Pluto moves into Aquarius, where it hasn't been since we put together the country of the United States. 1778, I believe, was the last time Pluto was in. It's going to be in for a little bit. And then on Saturday, Mars will enter Cancer. It's been in Gemini for 7 months, going backwards and forwards and all this stuff. And anyway, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So I got 7 cards out on the table. I'm gonna So let's see what all these cards mean. Today, underneath the deck, we have the Princesses of Cups. So the princesses in our deck are a lot of mover. There's people talking about something, and because it's in the pile, the bottom of the deck, it's something that we don't know. There's people talking about things right now. And what are they talking about? Well, the cards would suggest they're talking about some things that have happened in the past. In other words, what's happening right now with our astrological features are we're having a great opportunity to clean up our messes if we have any. If we've been living in our truth, this week should be a beautiful, beautiful week. If we haven't been living in our truth, it might be a little bit challenging for us, or a great opportunity to bring some things up to either change your mind about, let go, or perhaps, practice some forgiveness with yourself or some others, or perhaps it was somebody you haven't treated very well that, maybe you'd like to clean up that mess if it feels messy in your mind. And that's kind of what I'm seeing right here. Let me get these cards out and we'll start jibber jabbering. I hope you're doing great. I'm down in Mexico. I'm having a great time. Been down here 65 days. I've been building the Altar of the Obvious. If you haven't seen the Altar of the Obvious on social media, go check it out on the website. The Altar of the Obvious came out in the book Amusement Park, which also gave us the 5th ace and also stepped us forward into doing tarot and creating this entire deck based on the River House play, which happened back in Boulder. I don't know, it feels like a year ago at least. Started 9 years ago. Got a lot of wind, a lot of noise. I'm in Mexico on the 3rd floor. And oh my goodness, have we got some cards to talk about today. All right. So, my job today, my intention anyway, is to leave you a little bit better than I found you. We're all going through unbelievable change. I mean, just unbelievable change. And now that Pluto's going to Aquarius and all these signs are changing in a week, I can imagine that this week will be remembered for a long, long, long time. So, underneath the deck, what I talked about, wow. The Princess of Cups are talking about the lovers. Well, who are the lovers? Maybe it is a notable pair that has made a difference. But what's interesting is that's what we don't see is some talk about somebody's communicating about some true love they have. But what's interesting is the whole read is about betrayal and about crossed up words and crossed up promises and crossed up intentions and people leaving people out of a certain idea. And this Two of Pentacles down here is like a choice point. It's like somebody is thinking, what do I do about this situation that I left behind in my rear view mirror? It has brought me a conflicted mind. I didn't know what I wanted then. I don't know what I want now. I'm not sure which way to go. But the King of Wands is behind this, the Creator, the King of Wands. Is like saying there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of fire, there's a lot of desire behind this to see beyond the illusion, to see beyond the dualistic mind. So, and then comes the Devil card, or in my deck it's called the Addiction. This is the 15th of the Major Arcana. This is the of all the cards we have, this is the one of two major arcanas, and it's the Ace of Wands. So we have the King of Wands, and then the King of Wands, and the Two of Daggers, by the way, is inner conflict. It's somebody that doesn't know what they want. It's somebody that's, do I go this way, do I go that way? Somebody that's been lost in a dualistic mind or has no idea what to do about a situation. They're thinking way more than they're feeling. But the Creator is behind saying, you'll never think your way out of this mess. The only way through is to feel. That's the only way you're going to know what to do. And then the Addiction card comes out. It's almost like looking in the mirror, and is saying the source of the conflict is addiction. Is addiction to a story, addiction to guilt, addiction to shame, or something like that. However, what I'm feeling like is when we clear that, we have a great turn of fortune in our life. So two back-to-back major arcana cards, the Addiction card and the Wheel of Fortune card, the 10 and the 15 card. So we like to see the Fortune's Turn card because it tells us that the Wheel of Fortune is turning in our favor. The wheel is turning in my favor. The wheel is turning in everybody's favor, and it is because Pluto is going into Aquarius. Then we have the King of Wands again. I remember the King of Wands came out to clarify the Two of Daggers, and now the King of Wands comes out in our spread underneath the Queen of Daggers. It's almost like there's a king and a queen here who are not on the same page, okay? One is stuck in morality and one is playing their ditch. But the King of Wands is somebody who's mastered their desires, mastered their ability to be themselves, love themselves, and has a lot to share with a lot of people. Mastered their creativity, probably a great artist, somebody that does really well in business, knows how to heal. The King of Wands. So then we have the 10 of Daggers. And the 10 of Daggers is, being stuck so many times that you realize you can't be hurt anymore because you've been fucking stuck so many times. It's like, oh my God, I've been betrayed, stuck, lied to, cheated on, misdirected, gaslighted, manipulated, all the rest of it. And now I'm realizing there's nothing left there. You can't hurt me anymore. I've seen everything. There's nothing you can do. And that, in essence, is giving a breakthrough. So somebody is coming. I call this the end of suffering, or the ego death card. And that's what we want. We want an ego death. We want an ego death because that gives us a breakthrough to the truth. Ego death gives us a breakthrough to the truth. Ego death gives us a breakthrough to the truth. And so a lot of times when we create these situations where people get crossed up and we lie and we cheat and we steal and we don't treat people right and we can't face ourselves and all the rest of it, this betrayal card, in the enlightened viewpoint of this card, there really isn't such thing as betrayal. It's simply a misdirection of energy. But at the same time, it's also like the misdirection of energy was going to happen anyway. Why did we have to lie, deceive, cheat, steal around it? And why do we have to continue to carry the story? And why do we have to continue to punish ourselves for the situation that we got in? So, and that's a moment-to-moment thing. We always have a moment-to-moment. We can resolve these things in our minds. We can resolve them in our hearts. We can go to the source of them and we can resolve them there. Or we can go back to where it happened and communicate with the people that we loved at one time and we told we loved, and talk about, is there any way that we can reconcile this situation? We're addicted to the shame. We're addicted to the shame. That's what keeps us from taking source. But behind all of it, it's that addiction to shame that actually opens up the door for the healing to happen. You can see that's the Ace of Wands there. It's just saying, no, start over, begin again, begin again, begin again. If you start out with the truth, about how difficult things were for you, and then you can move beyond that. You don't have to cling to the past. 5 is a change card. King of Wands comes out. The outcome card, folks, after the breakthrough, the 10 of Daggers, is the money card. And the money card is the 6 of coins in our deck. It's all about, it's really about having great success in your life, in your affairs, in terms of what your home looks like, your career looks like, your impact on people. It's the 3D world success card. I'm making it. But you'll notice under that, to clarify that card, we have the 3 of daggers. So that is another 3 here. That's the same card coming out twice in the reading. Then we have the 2 of possibilities, which is, do I go this way, do I go that way, creating a lot of stress. But all of this stress underneath, got to add the 2 and the 7 to get the 9 of wands. Somebody that's like the capitulation card. It's like, I am ready to let this thing rest. I am so ready to pop the bubble on this thing and let my tears go and not isolate myself anymore, but cry so deeply and let go so amazingly that I melt the ice that has given me the facade that has kept me from making amends in my life. And that is going to bring the change that I want. And when the change comes that I want, all of a sudden the integration steps in, and I realize it doesn't matter if I have nothing. It doesn't matter what I've done in the past. It only matters is, am I living my truth now? Am I living my truth now? Am I living my truth now? And that's what these folks are talking about. I don't know who these princesses are and why, but right now with the astrological, with all the things changing, I can see where people might be like talking amongst themselves, like, or perhaps it's somebody that's stuck in a situation where they don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about this situation that left a trail of heartbreak in my rear view mirror. And so I'm going to talk to some other people and get their advice, so that maybe when I step forward, I'm as clear-headed as I can be. So Princess of Cups are all about emotion, and water is about people talking about how they feel. And usually you can see the smiles. They love each other. They're doing this purely out of love. So underneath we have this incredible conversation happening about true love. And the central focus of the read is, there's a heartbreak out there that has never really been resolved, looked at, appreciated, presenced, communicated. There's a lot undone there. That's what the cards are saying. That's what the cards are saying. So let's see what the Wisdom Oracle is on this. We have got 12 minutes and 27 seconds on the clock. How about this? First card out. Are you okay? I am listening. Are you okay? I am listening. That would suggest somebody is about to reach out, or it's a good opportunity. If this is matching your story in any way, shape, or form, it's like there's somebody in your community that's hurting. Okay, or there's somebody in my community, but I'm not sure who that might be. Perhaps my intuition would tell me, if I really dove into myself and said, who would appreciate a call from me now? Who would appreciate? Are you open to the possibility of magic? Are you open? Are you open? Not just a little bit, but maybe even not even less than a little bit, just a fraction. Is there some possibility inside of you that magic can happen, that really what you've been resisting is the very thing that you need to step forward into? And that's where the magic is. That you thought you could bury this in your mind, you thought you could put this away, you thought that you could sweep this under the rug, but now it sits on the altar of the obvious as this thing that you must do. We must all do. We must forgive everybody. We must come clean, folks. We must come clean. We have to remove the density. We want to ascend, we want to grow, we want to make a better world. We have to take responsibility for the plays that we have gotten into that have, excuse my French, fucked people up. And created a tremendous amount of change, Now that change is good nor bad, neither one. It simply is change. Now our perception of it, the joy that can come from it, would be if it was handled in a way that had transparency, honesty, deep respect for, value, appreciation, that kind of thing. And that feels good. And what doesn't feel good is avoidance. And I think that's what we have here, is the avoidance card. That's the avoidance card. And that avoidance card only brings up what? Addiction. It's only an addiction to the mind would keep somebody from calling somebody they love and saying, you know what, I didn't play that very well, and I'd like to make up because I want this to be a better world. And it's a better world when it starts with me, because then everybody in my world is better. And that gives me the change. And in the background, the clinging to the past. It's back there, folks. Somebody can't stop thinking about the past and what was upset back in there. For we saw ordinary magicians sweep obvious things into the not yet nowhere. Okay, so then the addiction card See, this is the antidote to comparison, which is what happens in addiction. We start comparing ourselves to somebody else's idea of us or society or whatever. But this card says when we measure ourselves by society's success, we can never reach it. We must then redefine success as compassion. All humans can succeed. And that's what happens. We get a conflicted mind. We leave a trail of crap behind us, and we just bury ourselves into work and a bunch of lies and illusions to pretend like this thing is going to go away. But that's measuring ourselves by other people and other ideas, and will never bring us satisfaction. We must get to the point saying, no, a successful world is built on compassion. Not how much money, not how hard we work, not how much people love us at work, and not for the presence we have on social media, folks, but just because we have chosen to be upfront and honest and compassionate to ourselves and love ourselves. Because, you know, the people that did in our lives, the people that are involved in these situations, doesn't matter if you're the perpetrator or the victim, and there are no such things, you're all involved in it. So it's just like, okay, we're all involved in it. That means everybody's responsible. And if we take the fault out of it, then all of a sudden we have a miracle. Everybody's responsible. Nobody's at fault. That creates a miracle. We don't even know what's possible after that, because what we've done is we've invited God to come into the mix. God to come into the mix. So weird is a side effect of being awesome, and awesome is an inside effect of being weird. That is the wisdom card that goes for the Wheel of Fortune turn. You know, I don't care what it looks like to your family's ideals. I don't care what it looks like to anybody's ideals but your own. Weirdness is doing what other people would never do for themselves, but you would, because it's you. Just be weird. Be like you, be weird. All right, for the King of Wands, one cannot be 100% responsible until there is a willingness to give up 100% control. Then anything is possible. Be a spark. So the King of Wands, which is clarified by the Queen of Daggers here, which is like truth bomb, is like saying, hey, you know what? You can't be 100%. We just got to that a minute ago. We can be 100% responsible and nobody's at fault. We get a miracle. But until that happens, you have to give up all of your control, folks. That's where the miracle comes from. The miracle comes from giving up control. The miracle comes from giving up control, because what we give to life is what we get to ourselves. So screenshot this. It's a great poem. Yes, I give to me when I give to her. What I see in her, I see in me. She is a perfect mirror of divine love. When my presence produces harmony, I am aligned. When my presence reveals static, it's time to look within to heal. Repeat. When my presence reveals static, it's time to look within to heal. When my presence produces harmony, I am aligned. Likewise, all of life is a mirror of divine love. What I see in life, I see in me. When I give to life, I give to me. Yes. That's the breakthrough, folks. We did it to ourselves. There is no fault. We did it to ourselves. Nobody inflicted the swords on us. We did it to ourselves. That's the breakthrough. That's the breakthrough. It's the mirror. Whoops, that's the wrong card. It's the mirror card. It's saying, no, you do unto yourself as you receive. Don't make anybody, never point your finger at anybody else. It's not their fault. It's yours. Take 100% responsibility. And then the great miracle can happen, because to bring anyone into potential, simply love them. To bring anyone into potential, simply love them. And you can't do that until you love yourself. And you can't do that until you make up for your past mistakes. It's okay to make a mistake. It becomes an error, then it becomes a sin, then it becomes a sword and a weapon that you hurt yourself with if you don't do anything about it. But if you do something about it, it's a mistake. Oh, I had a mistake in life, Mr. E. I had a mistake. You know what? I didn't quite do it the best way I could have, and I want to correct my mistake. Then all of a sudden a miracle happens. Why? Because there's no more resistance. Love can flow. Love can flow. And then we can love anybody into potential, including ourselves. And that is the money. That is the money. The money is, look at that, the change card comes up. The money is the change. The success is the change when we love people. When we love people, success is compassion. Compassion is success. On the bottom of the deck, to go with the Princess of Cups and the Lover's card, we are all one in our love. We are all one in our love. We are all one in our love. There's no such thing, folks, as anything else. It's all love. We are all one in our love. we're separate when we bring something else into the mix. But the lovers is Gemini energy. Look at all that Gemini energy in that card. You know, 2, 2, 2, 2. People are talking about, people ought to be talking about, people, this is an invitation to have a conversation about how we are all one in our love, and when we're one in our love, then we invite the miraculous into our lives, okay? So that's what I got for you today. I hope you're having the best day. 2020 on the clock, that's really cool. And if I can do anything for you, do a reading, do some coaching, some collaboration, some art, my God, I'm having so much fun down here. But I'm also looking for an invitation, so take care, guys.